Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to Worth Guitars. Today, I thought we would go over how to determine what the scale length of your guitar is. Now, a lot of you may already know what it is. Some of you may not know how to tell what the scale length of your guitar is. If you already know what that is and you know how to determine that, then this part isn't for you. But I have this bass here that we're building. This is a 5-string that we're putting together. And we're getting close to the end now, but I need to put the bridge on. And I didn't drill the holes in this particular model on the CNC because I wasn't sure what type of bridge I wanted to use. And so I just decided I'll just do it later. It's not that big of a deal to set this up and drill the holes. And I thought it'd be a good time to kind of show you guys how I do that so you can do it yourself. And also, just to go over scale length and how you determine what scale length is. So on a bass, predominantly you have 34-inch and 35-inch scale basses. Now to determine what the scale of a neck is and what the fret scale is simply measuring from the front of the nut right here to the center of the 12th fret times 2. And that'll tell you exactly what your scale length of your guitar is. So obviously that means that your bridge needs to be set appropriately to that scale. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up right now, but I need to take this pickup out because it's kind of in the way for doing it this way. So just let me do that real quick and we'll get that off of here and get it out of the way, and I'll be right back. I got to go make sure the compressor's turned off also, okay? Hey, thanks for subscribing also. I meant to tell you that. And thanks for all the thumbs up. You guys really have stepped up the subscribership lately. I really do appreciate that. Hits me right there in the old heart. I thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed already, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It'll be down there on your screen somewhere. You know where it is. And also hit that thumbs up button. All right. If you're already a subscriber, thank you. You rock. I'll be right back. Okay, we got that taken care of. Let's take this pickup out real quick. It should only take a moment. And then I can lay my straight edges flat down on here. I think I could probably do it with it on there, but it only takes a second. Take this off. So let's do that real quick. And while I'm removing these screws, just tell you to do whatever you can for those people that were affected by Hurricane Helene. There's not a whole lot you can do if you're a person who doesn't have a helicopter or whatever. But I mean, you could obviously contribute whatever you can to all of the organizations that are trustworthy out there that are trying to help out, and mostly just, keep them in your thoughts and prayers if you're a praying type person. I'm sure that helps a lot, the positivity of it all, And I'm really kind of worried about Hurricane Milton that's coming up now. If you're watching this, is at this time, on this present day. I never know when you're going to be watching these, so to talk about a date on YouTube is a little odd, but this present day is the 12th of October. And there's a huge hurricane called Milton, Category 5, in the Gulf of Mexico right now. And man, that's really scary looking. But anyway, we got this loosened up. We can take this out of here. I think, unless it's connected to, no, it's not. All right, so we can take that out. I've got a lot of stuff up here. I need to move some stuff. Excuse me. I can take this out of here. This is a great Music Man style pickup, soap bar that Seymour Duncan makes. I love Seymour Duncan pickups. And it has a 3-way EQ. This thing's going to be really nice, active EQ. Okay, so that's out of the way now. We have a nice flat surface. And what I'm going to do is use some of this low-tack tape just to protect everything. So we're not putting scratches on this nice new lacquer. This has a nice nitro finish on it. And we don't want to scratch that up. I know we're going to be down here somewhere. A couple of pieces of this, like that. That should do the trick. I'll put one more here just for fun. Okay, so now we got a nice clean slate. This, by the way, is a 34-inch scale base, and we can tell that I have a temporary nut in here that I can measure up to the center of the 12th fret is 17 inches. So 17 times 2, 34 inches, right? So what we want to do is just butt right up to the nut and find 34 inches and put us a little mark right there. I'm going to come over here to one side of the neck, put a mark with a little pencil, and then come over here to the other side of the neck and do that same thing. Let me get you over here a little closer. Now the reason I did 2 marks is because that gives me 2 reference points to put a straight line across, right? Does that make sense? Okay, hang on one second. I'll get you over here a little closer so you can see. Okay, there you go. So measuring from the nut, 34 inches. That's my scale line right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've lost my pencil already. There it is. This tool, the center finder tool, I'm just going to connect those 2 34-inch points that I put on here with a line across it, like that. That's my scale line, right there, okay? Probably hard to see, but it is there, take my word for it. Now what I need to do is find the center of the neck, because we want to put the bridge obviously centered with the neck itself. So the simple way to do that is, because we know the neck is centered in the neck pocket, because we already checked that, is we're just going to lay this straight edge right up against the side of the neck, just like that. Okay, and we're going to put a mark down here. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. You can see now why I pulled the pickup out. Okay, now those lines there represent this line moving up the side of the neck. Now I did that with this flexible ruler. I'm just going to check it with something that's a little heavier duty just to make sure I'm not getting any weird readings. So I've got this nice straight edge that we can put up there that's really super heavy duty, and it doesn't get influenced if it's bent, because it doesn't bend. So I'm going to do that again right here. And you can see that that flexible ruler actually moved a little bit when I pressed up against it. Over here it didn't. So let's just check here again one more time. Thought I felt something move. Okay, this line is the one we want. All right, now I can measure the distance from here to here, and that's my exact center up the center of the neck. So what I'll do is just take my center finder rule and lay it up here. And we are a 32nd of an inch heavy of 1.5. So however many 30-seconds that is. 17 30-seconds. So we're 1 and 17 30-seconds to the center from that line. That's my center line. And the same here. 1 and 17 30-seconds. That's my center line right there. Now I have my center line, but obviously if I put this on top of it to screw it down, because we're actually in scale length measuring to here, not to here, so I need to find out what my distance is to the front of this, to this front edge. Excuse me, I hate to keep clearing my throat like that. So I'm going to make a line so that we can set this to that edge, and then we can run that center line up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure up one inch from that line, 1 inch from that line, and then connect those. Right? So now I can measure the distance between those 2 points. Which is again 1 and 17/32. And put a line right there. Now I can connect those 2 lines like this. That's my center line. Right there. Okay, that's my center line straight up the neck. CL. Okay, can you guys see that? You see the marks? Get you a little bit closer, you can see the marks. Brighten it up a little. Okay. This is our scale line. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. This is our scale line. This is our center line. This line was just a reference line. So what I want to do now is measure from the center of this saddle to the front edge of this bridge. Can't really do it with that. What I need to do is put a block here like this that I can measure up against. Like that. Now I have something I can measure to. And I have 11/16. Okay? So it's 11/16 from this front edge of this bridge to the center of that saddle. So this is my scale length. That's the center of my saddle. Now, of course, obviously we have a lot of play here. If we're a 32nd of an inch off here, there's plenty of room in here for this to be adjusted. All of that is adjustment. So it doesn't have to be down to the 20 thousandths of an inch. This is my scale line right here. Measure up 11/16 of an inch. Again here, 11/16 of an inch. Connect those 2 lines, those 2 points, like this. This right here is the front of my bridge. Right there is where this bridge should be set. And what I'm going to do is find the center on here, mark it, set that right on that line. And then, obviously, before I drill any holes, I'm going to tape this down and I'm going to take all of the readings again just to make sure that we got it in the right place, okay? Okay, so let's find the center of this bridge. That we can do with this. 3.736. 3.736. Let's get the trusty calculator out. Whoops. 3.736 divided by 2 is 1.868. That is the center of our bridge, 1.868. And I'm just going to set this to 1.868. Just like that. I'm going to put a little mark on the back of this bridge. Like that. So I put a little scratch on the back of the bridge right where the center of it is. Right there. Kind of hard to see, but it's there. Take my word for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a trusty square here. Make that line a little more noticeable so I don't lose it. And I'm going to transfer that line right around to the front of the bridge with a pencil. They can easily be wiped off. Okay. Center line of the bridge transferred to the front of the bridge. Okay? And we'll check it just to make sure. And it looks good. And that gets us to the center of that saddle. Now we can set this to that line right there, which is the front of the bridge, and line that center line up with that center line we just put on the bridge. Just like that. That's where our bridge is supposed to be. I'm going to tape that down and check it out and make sure we're right. Just a couple pieces of tape to keep it from wiggling. This is not the time and place to be wiggling. This is a pretty easy way to do this. And it's very accurate. Okay, now that's locked in place. That's not moving around on us. Now we can check this by measuring it to that saddle. And we're just a little too far forward according to this. So we know we need to move back. It looks like a 1/16 of an inch. So we need to move that back a 1/16 of an inch. But before we do that, let's see how we look as far as the string sitting on here, the way it's affected on the neck. We want to be in the center of that saddle, and we want to have plenty of room on the other side of the string running up this side of this neck right here. And we want to do the same thing on the bass string. We want to make sure that we're sitting good and centered. And we need a little more room over here because this string is fatter, right? So we got a little more space over here. And I'm just sitting it right to the center of that saddle because that's where the string is going to sit. And these have a little bit of play in them if you need to, but you shouldn't have to do that. Okay, we got plenty of room on either side of the string, so the string's not slipping off. So we have the right bridge, we have the right bridge width. The right string in between each string is the right width. We know we're good as far as this way goes, but we need to go back that way just a touch. Now, that can be adjusted in the screws here, but I'm going to move it back anyway, so we know that this is our starting point. So we got a little bit of room going forward, and we got a little bit of room going backwards, and we're good to go. All right? So let's move this back, double check it one more time, and we should be in good shape. We'll just pull this up. going to move it back 1/16 of an inch. Right there. Let's check that. How do I know that's 1/16 of an inch? Because I've seen 1/16 of an inch so many times, it's burned into my retinas. I have scale lines in my eyes. Okay. One more time on the scale length. That looks good. That looks real good. That's 34 inches to the center of that saddle. Okay? We're going to check it one more time this way to the center of the saddle. We're looking for the right amount of space here. Going up the side. That's good. That looks good. Same over here. That looks good. Nice space right there for that big old fat B string coming down here. Okay, so now we know that that bridge is placed on this guitar in the proper place. Now we can mark the holes, drill the holes, and mount that bridge. Then after that, all we need to do is finish wiring it up, do a little bit of fret work, and this baby is ready to go to work. All right, so hold on and let me get some other tools and put away some tools, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we know we have this set in the right place. I'm just going to take this nice mechanical pencil and I'm going to trace those 3 holes right there, like that. And we know the center of those holes is the center of our drill bit. And we can take this back off. Get it out of the way. All right, there's our holes right there. You can see that hole is right on the center line, there and there. Now we'll just get some holes drilled. We'll take this little awl right here and mark the center of that hole. And that'll give us a place for the drill bit to start. Like that. Now all we got to do is drill those holes. Actually, I already had the bit set up. This one's just a tad too big. No, that's right. This is the one we want to use right here. Show you an easy way to mark your drill bit. Good old tape trick. That's how deep the bit needs to go, right there. Just like that. Okay, now we can move this out of the way. And we're going to need to drill a ground hole under the bridge into that cavity. So let's do that too before we put the bridge on, or also. Okay, so we need a ground wire that comes from under this bridge over into the control cavity, which is right here. So I'm going to put some tape around this to mark where the bridge sits on the guitar, just so I know these are the areas I need to stay in when I drill this hole. Like this. Okay, so I need to be in that area right there. This bridge sits in that pocket. I need to drill a hole on a diagonal through into that control cavity, which is right there which is almost perfectly aligned with that edge. I tried to keep that straight up and down when I did this particular model. So now I know that this edge represents the edge of this control cavity. So I need to come in at an angle, pretty steep angle, and go straight into that cavity so we can run a ground wire to the bridge. I have a bell hangers bit to do that with. This always is a little scary, but it always turns out okay. What I'm going to do is start a little hole right here. I got to stay in that area, and I'm going to come back to right about here. And I'm going to start that drill bit going in that direction. That's my starting point. Going at a pretty steep angle here. Drilling in a little at a time. Then we can start flattening it out. Okay, now we can just go on in. All right, that just broke through. Now we have a nice pocket for the ground wire to sit in, coming out right there inside of our control cavity. So I'm going to get a ground wire and go ahead and put that in at the same time I put the bridge on. You don't have to take the bridge back off. Okay, so let me get one of those ground wires over there set up, and I'll be right back. Hold tight. Okay, we got a ground wire. Green for ground. That's what I'm going to do on this base, mostly because I ran out of black wire. Green for ground is cool. If it ever needs to be worked on, the person working on it will know right off the bat what that wire is coming from the bridge. So it won't be very confusing. Now I'm just going to double this up a little bit here. I tinned this wire with some solder so that it's nice and stiff. I left about an inch of it, and then I'm just wrap it over on itself so there's a little bulk to it. And we're just going to stick that right in there like that. And then just place it right down on the guitar body and set the bridge on top of that. Hold on a second here. Can you see that? See the wire? Okay, I just want to make sure you can see that. Okay, so now there's a ground wire touching the bridge, and that'll keep everything from buzzing, right? Then we can set this bridge right on top of that and put some screws in it and lock it down. And this bridge will be set. And we're on the way to finishing this base. And just snug it down. We don't need to put a lot of torque on it. That puts us in contact with that wire tight to the body. And that is an installed bridge. Move our tape out of the way. Put the pickup back in. There we go. Nice. Nice bridge. This is a hip shot bridge, A style. Put the pickup back in while we're here. Okay. Tricky finding the holes again. I think they'll drop in there. There you go. There's one. There's the other. We'll just snug these up for the moment. Might have to do a little fine tuning once the strings are on there. There we go. Pickup's in. The bridge is set. The tuners are on. We can put some strings on this and we can do the fret work. We'll take it over to the fret machine over there and get the fret work done. Then all we have to do is wire it up and it's ready to go. All right? So that's it. You know, if you've seen this done already, not your thing. But for the people out there who haven't and who are interested in learning that kind of stuff, that one's for you guys. Okay. And so that's almost there. But before you get away, let me show you something that looks really cool. Hold on. Very pretty little ancestor we're doing here for Scott Hanford. Very cool dramatic burst. I kind of gave it the antique look on the back of the neck here. This guitar is number 60 for Work Guitars. It's a very pretty little thing. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, okay? Keep those people out there in the path of those hurricanes in your thoughts and prayers. Send whatever donations you can. Do whatever you can. And let's all try and help each other out. Let's be kind to each other out there, okay? Peace. Worth Guitars. Go see some bands. Go out there and support those musicians, okay? Bye now. We'll see y'all. Bye.